Hello, welcome back. So today I want to talk about when difficult covert family members are visiting. Okay, those times when you can't get away from people that are difficult to be around, to say the least. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about this in the Driver School of Transformation, obviously because it's that time of year. It's that time of year where sometimes you cannot avoid certain people in your life. So I want to talk about things that they do to get under your skin and to get you to react. And the one positive thing about disorders like NPD or people that are high on the scale is the fact that it is one of the most predictable personalities. So once you understand them, even if I'm talking about different people, you'll be able to relate. So I want to talk about what they do, but I also want to talk about how you can avoid falling into their emotional traps, so to speak. So with that in mind, let's dive in. For those that don't know me, my name is Michelle. I'm a life and relationship coach. I specialize in helping people overcome complex PTSD due to narcissistic abuse, childhood trauma, or any prolonged stressful situation. And I'm also the founder of the Driver School of Transformation, which is a monthly membership where we meet live weekly on Zoom and we work through it together. So here's the link for that if you're interested. So toxic, manipulative family members are visiting. First of all, a couple things that I just want to throw out there to remind you of, okay? They have an agenda. Manipulative, covert people have an agenda. They have a motive. They want something from you, okay? And what they want is control over your emotions, your beliefs, your ability to enjoy yourself, and your perspective of you, as well as your perspective of them. Okay, so with that in mind, let's talk about things that they do. So first of all, it's really, really important to understand that how they treat you, if they're covert, is not necessarily how they will treat other family members. A lot of the times we think that other people see it, right? So we want to talk about what they're doing to other people. But the thing is, what they do is they separate themselves. The narcissists and toxic or covertly manipulative people separate how they are with you and how they are with other people. And with you, they let their toxicity show. With others, they are this charming, like charismatic person. The reason they do this, first of all, I want you to understand, is because that's how they see themselves. They are divided within. They don't know how to reconcile their positive and their negative traits. Guess what? We all have them. We all have positive, we all have negative traits. But a narcissist can't do that. So they separate themselves, right? Their positive traits, they project out to the people they're being charismatic to. And as those people are looking at that person like, wow, you're so amazing, that's their way of seeing their positive traits by being charismatic and having people reflect that back to them. But they know they have those negative traits. And so they pick somebody to put them in. Now, it's not that you are less than other people. Sometimes it's because the reason they pick you is because you are very perceptive. So maybe they see that you aren't fooled by them. And so since you can't view them as that amazing person that those other people are viewing them, they might pick you to be the one that they put all their negative into. My point of sharing that is don't beat yourself like, why am I the one that's, chosen to be the scapegoat? Usually it's because you're super perceptive. Usually it's because you have a lot of empathy. And at times it's because you have things that they wish they had, right? So what happens is they pick you to be the one that carries their negative. So that being said, isn't it true that a narcissist can cause you to feel like you're going crazy, like there's something wrong with you? Well, the reason for that is because that's how they see themselves. They know that there's something wrong with them. But if they can provoke you to feel that way, it alleviates that discomfort inside of themselves, their own cognitive dissonance of, I'm amazing, but there's something wrong with me. If they can make you feel that, they feel better. So what will often happen is, let's say you're in the kitchen, you're getting some food, right? And you're just minding your own business, they will come in and say some really cruel things underneath their breath. Or they'll criticize, like everything could be so beautiful, but they will criticize, even if there is that one thing, but even if there isn't that one thing, they will invent that one thing to criticize so that it's like a needle in your bubble, right? Or in your balloon, popping your joy, popping your inner peace. That's what they want. Because when they can do that, you start feeling bad. That's reflected to them that you're feeling bad. And in their broken prism of reality, they're like, oh, Michelle's the one that feels bad. I feel good. It's not me. I'm good. Then they go out and they're around everyone else that thinks they're amazing. And you come out of that kitchen in a bad mood, sad, depressed, but the toxic person is super happy. And now they're like complimenting you. Wow, this is great. But you know what they just said, right? Well, your demeanor, believe it or not, sometimes people might think, well, people are going to know something happened. When people see me like that, I'll let them know that it was the other person and they will understand me. It doesn't happen, because what you don't realize is how they're setting you up by them continuing to be happy and looking happy with you, even though it's a facade. You looking down and upset plants in the minds of everyone else that there's something wrong with you. Okay, that's exactly what they want, because they are able to excel. They are able to show their best self, so to speak, when somebody in the room has something wrong with them, because they can say, oh, it's not me, it's that person. And all the qualities that you have, they will wind up imitating. It's like this swap. They take their crazy, they take your empathy, and they excel at that. And if you try to convince other people in the room, even if, you pull somebody aside and you're like, look, this is what's going on, you're actually going to look like there's something wrong with you, because it doesn't look normal. It looks like you are trying to cause a problem. Now, I know you're not, and I know what's going on. But for other people that don't understand these kinds of dynamics, they won't understand it. And they will be pawns to the game that the narcissist is playing. Okay, so their goal is to get you to lessen your energetic vibe, so to speak, right? You're happy, you're excited, you're feeling good, it's a special time, and now you're depressed, and they've just like soaked up your energy. That's what they want. At the same time, they will also be smearing you, okay? And they don't smear like normal people. When normal people smear, it's uncomfortable and no one likes it. No one likes to be listening to gossip, negative gossip. But covert manipulators do not smear you that way. What they will do is they will criticize you when no one's looking. And then when you change your demeanor and you're around everyone, or maybe you walk away for a little bit, they will say something like, I try so hard with Michele. Like I'm really being nice. Did you hear me compliment her? Meanwhile, they didn't hear the insults that they did, behind everyone's back. But they're saying, did you hear me? I do everything I can. I don't know why she's such an angry person. I don't know why she's so critical. Like, she's always looking for the bad in everyone. And she's always, so unhappy and depressed and miserable. I'm really worried about so-and-so. And because their words sound as if they care about you, people believe it. And they think, wow, this person is so kind. Even though Michelle's looking so miserable and unhappy, this person's so happy and caring. Wow, what's wrong with Michele? That's how they smear. Now, I wish I could tell you that there's something you can do to avoid them smearing. You can't stop that. You can't control them, but you can control how you respond, and you can prevent yourself from putting fuel into the fire. So here are a few tips for you guys, okay? Knowing what they're trying to do. A lot of people will ask me all the time, Michele, do I just fake it? Should I just pretend that they don't bother me? And my answer is always no, because you can't fake it with a manipulative, covert person like that. They can feel your energy, just like you can feel when they have like this undermining motive underneath them. Rather than fake it until you make it, change your mindset. Change your mindset to, yes, this person is cruel. Yes, they're going to say rude things. Yes, they're going to criticize me, but that's their perspective of me. I'm still allowed to see myself as I really am. See, it's only when we make their criticisms mean something about us that it hurts. Now, when I first heard that, I was like, what? How could I possibly stand there and feel good when somebody is being cruel and covertly manipulative? Well, the more you practice allowing other people to have their perspective and fueling your positive perspective of yourself, the easier it gets. And that's what enables you to do the observe, don't absorb. The observe, don't absorb isn't an external action. Like, okay, I'm going to pretend to see them and I'm going to pretend I'm not feeling anything. No, it's literally observing their behavior, recognizing that that is who they are and that it has nothing to do with you. And knowing who you are and fueling yourself from within, that you're able to see it, have that emotional boundary and be like, okay, that was rude, but I'm happy. I'm with so-and-so. I'm seeing so-and-so. So they could be their little nasty selves and I'm still going to be me. If you can stay in your emotional state, which means you have to ask yourself, what is my emotional state? Or better yet, go into the event with intent. Like, what emotional state do I want? Well, I want to be happy. I'm seeing people I haven't seen in a long time. I want to enjoy myself. Once you know your emotional state, it is up to you. Like, you have the power to stay in your emotional state. The covert manipulator will see your emotional state and will want to take it and give you theirs. It's at that moment where you can give permission or you can deny it. Again, it's about allowing someone else to be who they are while you allow yourself to be who you are without needing their permission. When you can do this and you can master it from within, something interesting happens. You know that facade that they show everyone and everyone's like, wow, so-and-so is so amazing? Well, they can only maintain it if there is someone carrying their crazy. And if there is no one carrying their crazy, their true selves start to come out, believe it or not. So you don't have to convince other people. You don't have to try to prove your reality. You just have to stay you and not allow the other person to push you outside of the bounds of who you are. And that will cause them to have like an emotional overload and their true selves will come out. Now, I will say, to get to that place, I'm going to be dead honest. It's not something that you master in a week. If you really want to get to that place and stay in that place, which is awesome, because you're untouchable then. You're untouchable around manipulative, covert people. But to get to that place, you have to do the inner work to heal the wounds and the beliefs that the difficult person tends to poke on. Okay? If you just try to handle the actions and try to handle it in an external way without ever really clearing up those beliefs, upgrading those beliefs, healing those wounds, you'll always still have some vulnerability. Okay, so take the time to do the inner work, upgrade those beliefs so that you can be around anybody and no one will have the power to take away your happiness or push you outside the bounds of who you really are. And if you don't know how to do that, and if you've been trying to do that and have been struggling for a long time, make sure you check us out in the Thriver School of Transformation, because that's what we do. So you don't have to do this alone. You can do the inner work among a community of Thrivers that understand exactly what you're going through and that are on the same journey. The doors to enrollment in the Thriver School of Transformation close the 31st for a period of 3 months. So you can join us now or check us out in April when we reopen.